Well, the book, it's a documentary photography project about the Middle East and specifically about the Caravanserai in the Middle East, which were those, for many centuries, buildings that were used by caravans that were built and operated to be used by caravans that were doing those long journeys from basically all the way from the Mediterranean, all through the Middle East, Central Asia, all the way to China and India. Now, these caravans did not go in one caravan. It was usually in many different stages that it happened. But anyway, the caravanserais were used for accommodating those caravans along their journeys. Now, I've always traveled a lot, and basically, this photography project became gradually what it has become now. In a journey in 2006, when I was visiting Egypt and in Cairo, again, I encountered those caravanserais, and I was told that there were more than 300 for many centuries operating in the city of Cairo, and it was like an aha moment, like a surprise moment of what is the story behind these caravanserais. I did research beforehand. I found out about the number of locations that I wanted to go and visit. I had done more text research as well. And so once I was there, once I was traveling, I started to make a schedule to go and visit those places, find a driver to get me there. And in the Middle East, it's very easy to find any type of transport. You basically get to meet drivers on the street, taxi drivers on the street that are very willing to take you out for a day or for 2 days or a whole week if you'd like, to go out and visit the country. So basically, that's how I got to meet with people that could bring me to those places. And then once we were in the area, then we'd really do like explore around. And it's been a very interesting engagement then with many people every time again, because you meet people on the street in the villages, and they're like, well, yes, our grandfather, he used to tell us that caravans would travel by and they would stay at that site, at that location that you mentioned. Yes. So and then the driver would, at the beginning, he would be like very reluctant and say, but there is nothing to see over there. And then you insist, and then you get to find those places, and then soon enough the driver, he realizes that there's really a story behind this, and that it's a matter to ask around. And so several times over with drivers, and we get in a very enthusiastic discussion about their country and about history and about what life is now today. And so it becomes a very interesting two-way discussion and interaction. There's this Khan in Syria, which we found in the desert, 2 kilometers away from the main highway between Damascus and Palmyra. And the driver, he'd been traveling for 10 years, traveling tourists back and forth along that highway. And then he was exclaiming when we visited the site, "Oh my God," he said, "like I've never visited this site. Nobody told me. How is it possible? This is a magnificent site." So very interesting stories again and again to meet with people, and that was connected while doing this journey and visiting those places. Like for instance, the site also in Syria of Al Resafa. There's a set of 4 pictures in the book, and at the time I was visiting, there was a sandstorm brewing and blowing, and so there was sand flying all over, obviously, and that's also what you see on the pictures. Those pictures are very grainy, but that was literally because there was sand flying in the air. The story in the book and the parts in the book are more a continuum or a flow of a thinking, of a thought process. For me, the book it's a documentary photography project, which is taking documentary in the largest sense possible, taking a subject, researching it, making photography about it, but then also extended research and extended research in the book with text material, with context, with historical cultural material. And so for me, the book it has 4 dimensions. In that documentary photography aspect. The first dimension is obviously it's a book about the Middle East. It's a book about Middle East history, culture, architecture, and specifically about these caravans. And the Caravanserai are one of the 6 building types of Muslim architecture, and there is no other book, documentary photography book, or photography book about the Caravanserai, which is the second dimension. It's a photography book, and a unique book for photography because there is no other documentary photography book about the Caravanserai. And then a third dimension is, and that is the third part in the book. It's a story about history of the Middle East, but I have also wanted to bring that history back to today, in a sense that the Caravanserai for me are it's like a metaphor. They are a metaphor for an infrastructure and an interaction, a dialogue, if you want, that has been very successful for many centuries in the region, in its exchange, in its interaction between the Western worlds and Western regions, the Middle East and Central Asia itself, and then all the way to China, to India, to the East. And so I've wanted to bring that subject back to today. And then the fourth one is it's a travelogue. It's a story of how it is to travel today in the Middle East, and to take the interested readers and viewers to take them into a journey, into the Middle East, and with a positive message, with a positive idea. I wish that the readers, viewers from the book can indeed get away with a message of, at the very end, sooner or later, even within the biggest conflicts, and sooner or later we need to come back to interaction, to dialogue, to an exchange, and to come to solutions. Because if not, well, then it's conflict, war, destruction till the very end. I think that comes through in the book also with within the history part of the book, and so that at the very end it's a message of reconciliation and of resolution, and at the very end that's what we wish to all people, and what I wish to all readers and viewers, that they can agree and that they can continue to work, each on their domain, and in which way they are involved in reconciliation and in terms of dialogue in the Middle East, that they find it a very interesting book and that they can spread the message. And I wish everybody safe travels.